What's up gamers, Cryptico here, and welcome back to Lowering the Mark, a show where I analyze the current and former world records of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe time trial runs to see how these records get faster over time. We'll look at elements such as the loadout, racing lines, and mushroom usage to better understand what's bringing these times down. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the notification bell to be the first to know when my videos go live. For today's episode, we're going to shift it up a gear and take a look at a rather impressive run on a pretty wild course, Cheeseland at 200cc. On May 13th, 2017, the world record for this run was set at 1 minute 21.063 seconds by the French player Mick. Fast forward to November 16th, 2019, and the world record was set at 1 minute 16.841 seconds by German player Alpha. That's a 4.2 second improvement between records and a 5.3% faster time. Let's meet our racers. Our former world record holder Mick has broken 68 time trial records across 14 unique runs and has spent 380 days holding at least one world record. Our current world record holder Alpha has broken 26 world records across 4 unique runs and has spent 582 days holding at least one world record. Let's have a quick look at how this record came to be. At pre-release, the world record was over 20 seconds slower than Alpha's, and within a day the record had broken 125. From there, the world record would see small improvements mostly attributable to the French player Mick. At the end of 2017, German player Dashi would be the first one to dip under 120. 2018 only saw 4 faster times go up in a battle between Dashi and American player Jimmy, resulting in a 1:18.96 that would remain untouched for over 250 days. In early 2019, Dashi came back and kept bringing the time down to the 1:17s, and from there, the Australian player Panda and Alpha took over in a race to 1:16, with each throwing jabs at each other in the form of milliseconds until Alpha became the first to achieve the sub. In total, the world record was broken 55 times by 17 different people. Let's have a look at the loadouts. Here's a first for this series. Other than the characters, both players have the exact same loadout. Same cart, same wheels, and even the same glider. Mick chooses Yoshi as his driver, and Alpha goes with Baby Daisy, both driving the Biddy Buggy, roller wheels, and the Cloud Glider. Now there's no point in going over all the parts individually since they are all identical, so let's just take a look at the finished loadout. Mick leads on the top speed stat, but not much else. He's not too far behind on the acceleration stat, but Alpha ultimately comes out ahead with the max handling and mini turbo stats. It'll be interesting to see how Alpha was able to put up a time that was 4 seconds faster when the loadouts are exactly the same. The minimap for this course shows that it's no more than just a series of winding turns, making it a pretty difficult track to do fast. The first and second sections are a bit shorter than the third section, but each one is a test to see who can snake around the course the best. Mick starts off the race with a rocket start and then immediately into a super mini turbo while picking up 3 coins. He follows that up with a tight turn and another super mini turbo before finishing this section. Alpha does the same thing, but after he picks up his 3 coins, he charges up his super mini turbo and takes this first shortcut with only the boost he got from that. This is what's known as a no item shortcut. Normally going off-road is slower, but in 200cc, everything is so fast that it ends up being faster to take the shortcut and lose a bit of speed. Before the hill section, Alpha already leads Mick by nearly 1 second thanks to that shortcut. The only difference in the hill section between our racers is that Alpha grabs a coin just before the zipper ramp while Mick stays on the inside to avoid it. They both pick up 2 ultra mini turbos before the glider ramp where the gap between our racers has closed to 3/4 of a second going into the plane section. This section is mostly run the same by both of our racers, but Alpha does something different near the end that sets up a big time save in the next lap. Both racers grab the same mini turbo arrangements off the glider ramp and use their first mushroom in the same spot, but Alpha opts to start drifting through the off-road a little earlier than Mick. You'll see why here in a second. At the end of lap 1, Mick has somehow closed the gap a little more, and now Alpha only leads by 0.7 seconds going into lap 2. Through the arch section, Mick picks up an ultra mini turbo this time and even takes the no item shortcut that Alpha took on lap 1. The reason he didn't do it on the first lap is likely because he wasn't carrying enough speed or he just didn't think it would save time. Now I'm going to have to slow this down a little bit and zoom in so you can see what's actually happening. As we saw, Alpha carried a drift all the way from the previous shortcut through the finish line and is now going to use that boost to cut out the first turn almost entirely. This was a new no item shortcut that was discovered to be much faster than taking that turn, and for good reason. He follows that up by taking the same shortcut he did on lap 1 and adds over a second to his lead to be ahead of Mick by nearly 2 seconds going into the hill section. It's more of the same thing in this section as lap 1. Both racers take a tight turn and reap an ultra mini turbo before the zipper ramp and grab another one before they hit the glider ramp by charging it in the air. Rather than lose a bit of the lead, Alpha extends it to 2.2 seconds before the plane section. As far apart these runs are time-wise, they are surprisingly very similar in most places. The plane section is no more than a display of how good the racers are at snaking through the winding turns while avoiding the chain chomp that likes to hit people for no reason. Mick and Alpha use their mushroom the same way they did before to close out lap 2, where the gap has been widened to 2.5 seconds with Alpha well ahead of Mick. Both racers run the arch section the same way on lap 3, but I want to take a moment to highlight one key difference that is somewhat overlooked by most people. Watch Mick as he takes the second shortcut. He grabs his super mini turbo and hops twice to get back on the road. Alpha, on the other hand, does the same thing, but he only hops once. This little maneuver relies on positioning, timing, and speed to perform well. This single hop is more efficient because it translates to less time off-road and a longer boost on the main road. By this point, Alpha has added to his already insurmountable lead to be ahead by over 3.5 seconds going into the hill section. Here's more of that same hill section we saw on the previous 2 laps, so there's no need to commentate. We'll just carry on into the plains section. It starts off the same as before, except after the first turn, both racers carry a super mini turbo through the off-road onto the first glider, where they'll use it to fly near the spot where they used their mushrooms before, and catch the second glider ramp to fly all the way left and cross the finish line. After all that chaotic snaking and shortcuts, Alpha posts a time that is 4.2 seconds faster than Mick's former world record. So by utilizing an additional shortcut and carrying his speed much better throughout the course, Alpha was able to achieve the historic sub on one of the wildest courses in the game. For those of you who thought that may have looked easy, I guarantee it's much harder than it looks. I reached out to Alpha for a few questions and he was happy to respond. Let's hear what he had to say. What was going through your mind when you broke this world record?
I felt very relieved after setting the time. I was battling with Panda and it was a race to the first 116. I felt really pressured to achieve the sub before him, and when I finally got it, all the stress went away. I would still consider it one of my strongest times I've ever set in the whole game due to how hard and inconsistent Cheeseland is, and because I was able to string such an optimized run together.
What new strat do you think is most responsible for you shaving off so much time?
I would say it's a combination of multiple things. All the new NISCs that were implemented, the different combo, and cleaner driving in general helped me shave off more time.
Do you think that the world record can get any faster than the time you've posted?
The world record has the potential to be lowered even further, but I'm honestly very satisfied with my current time. I achieved my goal of 116 and the NISCs were pretty clean, so I can't complain. I might come back though if somebody beats my time.
Great words from the record holder. Let's have a look at the best known splits. Not too sure what the final times were, but we do know that they are spread out across 3 different runs by 2 different players. There's still another half second that can be cut, which means a sub 116 isn't entirely out of the question, but it'll take a pretty optimized run to pull that off. Let's take a look at the worldwide top 10. This leaderboard includes a pretty wide range of times in relation to the other courses I've covered. Alpha sits atop the throne with the only time under 117, while his closest competition, Panda, sits a mere 0.3 of a second behind him. Dashi and Alberto round out the top 4 and the only times in the world under 118. Japanese player Almond and Spanish player Ivan are 5th and 6th with the fastest 118s of the field, while Army, Yoshi, Tane, and Somin round out the top 10 with less than 0.2 of a second between them. Alpha has had this record for over 250 days, which is impressive, but with Panda as close as he is, it's only a matter of time before he too achieves the sub and the battle for Cheeseland continues. That's the end of episode 14. Shout out to Alpha for being a part of that Q&A segment. If you enjoyed this episode, like and share the video with your friends and comment what course you want me to analyze next. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.